This weekend, for the fourth consecutive year, the superstars of NXT and World Wrestling Entertainment will converge on the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, for the two biggest events of the entire summer. Tomorrow night, superstars of NXT will converge on the Barclays Center for their version of WrestleMania, the fourth annual NXT Takeover Brooklyn. And then on Sunday night, the superstars of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live will also converge on the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for the fourth consecutive year as they present the 31st annual edition of the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, a joint production of Ridiculously Raw and the Cerebral Smack Talk. I am your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher of the Cerebral Smack Talk, along with Michael Bullock, the Phenom, and of course, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson. A big night tonight, one of our biggest shows of the year, one we always look forward to. And this weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun, boys, let me tell you. So, settle in, enjoy, and let's get on with the show, my friends. So here we go. Of course, we're going to start with the event tomorrow night, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. Their WrestleMania, if you will, from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, their fourth year. Special start time, 7 Eastern, not 8, 7 Eastern, with a pre-show at 6. So just want to make sure you all know about that. So in case anybody waited until 8, no, don't do that. You do that, you'll miss an hour of it. So without any further ado, 5 matches on the card. We always say this about NXT events. Their cards get more stacked each and every time. But I think, in my honest opinion, this is the most stacked card for an NXT TakeOver I've ever seen. And I cannot wait to dive on in and have you guys with me as well. So here we go. Started off with our first match of the evening. Ethan Carter III, EC3, squaring off against the Velveteen Dream. Two of the most charismatic superstars on the NXT roster will face off when EC3 and the Velveteen Dream meet in Brooklyn. The rivalry has been a chess match as both have attempted to get into each other's heads in recent weeks, both psychologically and physically, and both guys have embraced their respective weirdness as part of the appeal they bring to the table. The Velveteen Dream has made his name in NXT by his ability to tell a story in the ring and get into his opponent's head. His match with Aleister Black at TakeOver War Games last November was the perfect example of that. His antics and in-ring narrative with Black earned high praise, and that's the type of psychology-based performance we can expect in Brooklyn. As high as the Velveteen Dream stock has risen, however, I think EC3 needs this win more. He has shined as part of the NXT roster, but he has yet to record a TakeOver win, and I think tomorrow night would be a good opportunity for that. So I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with EC3 to win this match. Should be a great match. All 5 have the potential to be show stealers, so nothing more to say on this. I got EC3 winning, so good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. EC3 Velveteen Dream kicking off what I think is the most stacked NXT TakeOver card I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a strong card. I'll openly admit that too. I think it's going to be an amazing evening at the Barclays tomorrow. I'm going to say it. I'm very high on the Velveteen Dream. I've been very high on him, probably more so than any other person on the NXT roster. I love the body of work that he brings. I love the charisma from the man from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. He's just that kind of guy. He's got the swagger. He's got the attitude. And yes, he is one of the most over heels in WWE. But every time he comes out, man, it's like magic. I don't know what it is about the Velveteen Dream, but there's something about him I like. But unfortunately, he is going up against EC3, Ethan Carter III. And, unfortunately, yeah, he's been good, but not great. He hasn't had that awesome moment yet or had made himself a relatively big name in NXT as of yet. I I believe he will sooner rather than later. But right now, I gotta say, he needs this more than anything else. Maybe down the line, the Velveteen Dream gets a measure of revenge. But if you want EC3 to be a big name, obviously you want him to win this fight. I haven't heard anything about Velveteen Dream getting called up to the main roster yet. I know there are some rumors of certain people getting called, but this is one of those where I do believe that Ethan Carter III should win the match, and this should be his great moment, as we would say. So nothing more to say. I got EC3 winning. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the Velveteen Dreams has been on the rise since he's been on NXT. The thing I like about him, and I agree with you guys, I mean, the way he gets in the mind of his opponents with some of the things he does, and his body of work in the ring is really good too. And yeah, I mean, EC3 has run in NXT has so far been good, but not great. And yeah, I mean, he needs a big time win. So I think tomorrow night, I think it's going to be his time. It should be a really good match, no doubt about it. But I think a loss for the Velveteen Dream really won't hurt him that much. So yeah, I mean, I just think EC3 needs this more, and yeah, maybe the Velveteen Dream could get a measure of revenge somewhere down the line. But like you said, who knows? Who knows? Maybe the Velveteen Dream could be one of those guys that gets called up to the main roster. Because let's not forget, guys, we do see some NXT guys get called up to the main roster after SummerSlam. I mean, take Bobby Roode, for example. I mean, he got called up to the main roster after SummerSlam last year. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, as much as I like the Velveteen Dream, but to me, I gotta go with EC3 to win this, and he will finally get that signature win on the NXT roster. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree with EC3. So let's go on.
All right. And 4 matches left. And I'm going to tell you right now, every match from here on out, my friends, championship matches. Told you this card was stacked. And we're going to start it off with the NXT North American Championship match. The champion, the leader of the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby, defends the title against the one and only Ricochet. MF, I mean, this has got to be a dream match for you because I know how high you're on both of these guys. It's only fitting we start this one with you.
This is without a doubt one of the most highly anticipated title fights that we've had, especially for this young championship. As it relates to the young championship as it relates to the North American Championship. Yes, without a doubt, this is going to be a great title fight, no doubt about it. Ricochet is without a doubt a bona fide star in his own right. Adam Cole, I mean, what has this man not done in professional wrestling? Ring of Honor, a 3-time world champion in the company, and the only man to have the NXT North American Championship, to say the very least. The only problem I have in this fight is, because of the fact of the Undisputed Era. Yes, I know it's going to be one-on-one because the Undisputed Era is defending their tag team titles later in the night, but I kind of got a weird feeling the Undisputed Era is going to try to rear their heads in this fight. At the end of the day, I gotta say it. I think Adam Cole successfully defends the title. I don't think it's Ricochet's time just yet. I think they're gonna want to do it and let the champion be the champion. So I got Adam Cole winning the match and successfully defending the NXT North American title. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got to agree with Fletch on this one. I mean, I got to go with Adam Cole as well to win and successfully retain the NXT North American Championship. I mean, I'll tell you what, these guys have definitely developed quite the rivalry in NXT, and I mean, Ricochet's body of work has definitely been really, really good, to say the very least. But to me, I think it's too soon for him to win any title. I mean, in NXT, I mean, it'll definitely come around for him, but I just don't think it's the time. I mean, I want to see him continue. I want to see him continue to really get better and better. So I just think Adam Cole still needs to have that title, and don't be surprised if we get a little interference from the rest of from some of the other members of the Undisputed Era. So nothing more that needs to be said. I got Adam Cole winning as well and retaining the NXT North American Championship. So nothing more to say. Dee Whitson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree. Adam Cole will retain or win the championship. So not much more to say about it. Gloria, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. Even though I have seen a lot of the previews, a lot of the preview columns that I've read in videos, there are some people that are actually going with Ricochet to win the belt. But anywho, all I can say is finally a North American Championship match at a Takeover event. We've only gotten a handful of title defenses thus far from Adam Cole, with all but 2 of them happening on live events and independent shows since Cole won the title in an incredible ladder match in New Orleans. The inaugural champion Cole was surprisingly left off the TakeOver Chicago 2 card, but fear not, this match in Brooklyn will more than make up for any absences, and the matchup couldn't be more appealing. While the build wasn't as bountiful as one would hope, that's not the story here. 2 of the premier talents in professional wrestling will be squaring off, and build or no build, Cole versus Ricochet is a match destined for greatness, solely based on the in-ring acumen of both superstars. Add in the intrigue factor based on their limited encounters before either of their NXT careers began, and this match could be considered the most enticing one on the card. So I agree, I will make a unanimous winner and still North American champion, Adam Cole, baby. But don't be surprised if Ricochet steals it. Don't be surprised. So just keep that in mind. Next up, the match for the NXT Women's Championship. The champion, Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades, defending against the winner of the inaugural Mae Young Classic, the Pirate Princess, Kairi Sane. Michael Bullock, we started with you. Does the Queen of Spades run continue, or does the Pirate Princess beat Shayna Baszler for the second time like she did in the Mae Young Classic and take the NXT Women's title and end her reign of terror?
I'll tell you what, I mean, Shayna Baszler, I mean, continues to impress me over in NXT. I mean, her run as the champion, I mean, it's been spot on, and she continues to mess with the other women, try to get in their heads because she definitely causes pain. But there is one person that gives her some fits, and Kairi Sane is definitely one, because like you mentioned, I mean, Kairi Sane has beaten Shayna Baszler before, especially in that inaugural Mae Young Classic. I mean, Kairi Sane has continued to get better and better, but to be quite honest with you guys, I just don't think it's the time for her to win the title. So this is easy for me. So I'm going to say winner, and still NXT Women's Champion, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. Her reign of terror is going to continue. So nothing more for me to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I think she'll retain over Kyrie. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Gloria, yours.
Who can stop Shayna Baszler? How about someone who has beaten her before? With the second Mae Young Classic underway, it's only appropriate that a rematch of last year's tournament final with the NXT Women's Championship on the line is part of this takeover card. Since Baszler's arrival to NXT, she has been an unstoppable force. Last summer, though, she was stopped by Kairi Sane in the finals of the Mae Young Classic in Las Vegas. However, with a chip on her shoulder, Baszler has dominated the NXT women's division, Sane included, since she debuted earlier this year. Arguments can be made for both sides, but the outcome of this match would seem to rely heavily on Baszler's NXT future. Her close friend and four horsewomen ally Ronda Rousey has become the face of the Raw women's division and could walk out of SummerSlam as the Raw Women's Champion this Sunday. We'll get into that later, but is Baszler destined to join in the fun? Perhaps at Survivor Series? Saturday night's outcome, well, tomorrow night's outcome, rather, will reveal quite a bit. It is very tough. I mean, I was going to go with Kairi Sane to win the belt, but after what Bullock and Didi have, just mentioned, I mean, this really couldn't go either way. I mean, my gut's telling me to go with Baszler. My heart's telling me to go with Kairi Sane. I'll be honest with you, I love Kairi Sane. I mean, she's so fun to watch. I enjoyed watching her very much so during the Mae Young Classic. Her matches were so enjoyable, especially the Baszler final. This is so tough. I mean, this is a rubber match here. You remember, Sane won the Mae Young Classic, and then earlier this year on an NXT taping, Baszler got the win back. So I'll go with Shayna Baszler for now. But just like with the North American bout, don't be surprised if we see a new champion here, because it could happen. So, but I will go with Shayna Baszler for now, based on her dominance. So, nothing more to say here. MF, come on in. Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, the women's title on the line. Tough one to call here, but are you going to make it unanimous, or are you going to actually go with Kairi Sane to win the belt?
No, I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler. If she didn't lose to Nikki Cross, I mean, she beat Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is more deserving of the NXT women's title. I'm sorry. I haven't really followed Kairi Sane, even though I've heard a lot of great things. I haven't followed her enough to say, yes, she's deserving, or no, she's not. So for me, this is kind of a little bit of a I can't wait to see tomorrow night, but honestly, going into it, my thoughts and my sentiments is that I believe that when it's all said and done, that Shayna Baszler, the ace of spades, will find a way and successfully defend the title. I just don't see how. I don't see it. Unfortunately, I don't. I think it's going to be Shayna winning it. Would I be shocked if Kairi Sane wins? No. But like I said, I'm going to go with Shayna to win the match and to win the title. So nothing more to say, guys. Let's move on.
And now the match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Champions, the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, defending the titles against the Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven. Didi Woodson, who's walking out as the Tag Team Champs tomorrow night?
I'm going with the Undisputed Era. I think they'll have the titles when they walk out. So I'm not going to say too much more, so I'll toss it to you.
All right. Mustache Mountain is Tyler Bate and Trent Seven ascended to the top of the NXT Tag Team Mountain in dramatic fashion in front of their home crowd at the Royal Albert Hall in London during the UK Championship Tournament tapings in June. Bate and Seven shocked O'Reilly and Strong of the Undisputed Era by defeating them for the Tag Team Gold. It was Mustache Mountain's finest moment as a tag team in NXT. But all good things must come to an end, and for Bate and Seven, it happened abruptly. 2 weeks later in a championship rematch, which turned into one of the most dramatic bouts to ever take place on NXT TV, O'Reilly forced Bate to throw in the towel as Seven writhed in pain, locked in a heel hook in the center of the ring. With that, the highest of Mustache Mountain's highs became the lowest of lows. Tomorrow night, they'll look to join the Undisputed Era and the Revival as the only two-time NXT Tag Team Champions in their rematch at TakeOver. While it would seem that the dominant War Raiders are waiting in the wings to challenge the Undisputed Era for the titles, anything can happen, as we learned at Royal Albert Hall a couple of months ago. Triple H has high hopes for the rubber match, and he noted that Mustache Mountain is clearly stepping into their own. And if this match at TakeOver is anything like those other two, which knowing all of the talent in the ring, they're not going to be satisfied with it being as good as the ones that they had. They're going to want it to be even better. So I'm expecting a lot out of this one. So I agree. I will go with O'Reilly and Strong to retain the titles. So should be an incredible match. All these, like I said, have the potential to steal the show, especially the main event, which we're going to get into in a moment. So O'Reilly and Strong still the World Tag Team Champions. So MF, your thoughts on what could be one of the greatest tag team title matches in history of NXT, that is. MF, are you there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here, guys. The way I feel about the match, it goes like this: the shock from the Royal Albert Hall, the shock from the Royal Albert Hall when they won the title. Like you said, it was one of those shocking moments that I don't think a lot of us expected, but it happened. And then, yeah, O'Reilly and the Undisputed Era got the titles back, and yeah, fine, it's great. And of course, everybody knows the next team is going to be the War Raiders, aka War Machine, from Ring of Honor, the former tag team champions over there, and that's going to be a very interesting dilemma or situation. But I don't know. I kind of feel like this isn't over yet, and I understand that everybody wants to see the War Raiders as the next contenders, but I don't know. I really want to see an upset. I want to see Mustache Mountain win the titles. I do. I mean, it was a great story. That was a great moment. The upset of the year in 2018 so far, because I don't think nobody gave Mustache Mountain a chance to beat the Undisputed Era, especially in England when they did. I really would like to see it happen again. So I'm actually going to buck the trend here. And for the first time tonight, I'm disagreeing. I'm actually going to go and call for the upset, the winners, and once again, the new NXT Tag Team Champions, Mustache Mountain, Trent Severin, and that's it. I'm calling for new champs. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Whew, and I gotta be the one to make the decision. Do I make it even and go Fletch with the Mustache Mountain, or do I side with Florio and Didi Woodson and go with the Undisputed Era? This is tough. I mean, it's been going back and forth with these two. Yeah, of course, it all started, like you said, with Mustache Mountain winning the NXT Tag Team titles in the UK, and then basically on an NXT show, the Undisputed Era basically got the titles back from them. So this is tough. So I'm actually going to disagree with Florio and Didi Woodson, and I'm going to agree with Fletch. I'm actually going to go with the with Mustache Mountain to regain the NXT Tag Team titles. So yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So Florio, I think it's on to the match that I think we're all going to agree is the fight of the night.
Any one of these fights, both with all due respect, could be the fight of the night. But when it comes to this main event, there's no doubt about it. This is the one that's going to steal the show right here, like they've done twice before. Main event of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Probably this could be the most anticipated and greatest main event in the history of NXT TakeOver shows. A last man standing match for the NXT Championship. The champion, the Sicilian psychopath Tommaso Ciampa, defending the title against his arch nemesis, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. Oh my goodness. Coming off 2 straight remarkable TakeOver main event performances, it might be hard to comprehend how Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano could follow what they've already done. Simple. Make the stakes higher this time around. In addition to the unbridled animosity between the two men, the NXT Championship is on the line, and one man has to put the other one down so that they cannot enter a 10 count. Ciampa scored a shocking victory over former champion Aleister Black last month, thanks to Gargano's unintended belt shot to the face of Black as he tried to keep Ciampa from winning. Black was scheduled to take part in tomorrow's championship match as part of a triple threat, but was removed due to an injury. In some circumstances, such a dramatic change this late in the build to a show would be disastrous, but there's plenty of intrigue and animosity to go around. The first match of the series took place at TakeOver New Orleans in an unsanctioned street fight. Ciampa and Gargano poured their hearts into a classic bout that will undoubtedly find its way into the match of the year discussion at the end of 2018. On that night, Gargano obtained a bit of retribution for the countless wrongdoings brought on by his former tag team partner and earned his job back, but the flames of hatred still burned brightly. It met again at TakeOver Chicago 2, at the same venue where Ciampa turned on his former friend, this time in a street fight. After a vicious 30-plus minute brawl, Ciampa stunned Gargano with a DDT onto the exposed wooden planks of the ring while handcuffed to even the score. Will Gargano's journey as a singles competitor in NXT reach its pinnacle in round 3 at TakeOver Brooklyn 4 at the expense of his former ally turned enemy? Or will Ciampa's villainous reign continue, sending Gargano spiraling into the abyss? The booking options are aplenty, especially with the last man standing stipulation. One thing is for sure, though, these two will not pull any punches. My gut is telling me to go with Gargano to win the title. Another part of me tells me that Ciampa is going to successfully defend. And then there's even another part of me that could see this thing ending in a draw. You do that, the fans will not be happy about that whatsoever. The last thing you want is to ruin a hell of an event with a nonsense finish. The only way it could happen is if you want to keep this thing going. But, you know, Michael Bullock and I, we've talked about this quite a bit during our Raw and SmackDown chats over the last few weeks since this match was made. And we're just going to go with it. If MF and Didi want to disagree, it's fine. But I know where Bullock and I are going with this. And we're not gonna let our minds be changed. Even though it's gonna make Ciampa look like a transitional champion and all that, and I feel bad. But there's only one way for this to go. This has to be the night where Johnny Gargano gets his long overdue moment in the sun. A moment in the sun that I think he honestly should have had in Philadelphia, if I'm going to be real honest with you. But alas, they decided to keep it on Almas in that unforgettable 5-star match. This will be a 5-star classic. The other two were. This one will be, no doubt about it. I think this is probably going to be the best match of them all right here. And I think this will also go down as the greatest last man standing match in history. NXT or WWE. Twice before has a world championship changed hands in a last man standing match. No Mercy, 2007, you remember Randy Orton won the WWE Championship from Triple H in an unforgettable last man standing match. And then the other, on a January 2013 episode of SmackDown, when Alberto Del Rio knocked off the Big Show in a last man standing match for the then World Heavyweight Championship. So it's happened twice before, and I think it happens again. I know Bullock and I are probably going to be the only ones on the ship here, but you know, Bullock and I, we're so high on Johnny Gargano. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Ciampa too. He's the best heel in NXT far and away. But my gut is telling me the scenario is have Gargano win the belt here. Maybe get by Ciampa in a rematch on a TV or something. And then when Aleister Black is ready to come back from his injury, turn Black heel, and then have Gargano and Black have a title feud, which could lead to the next TakeOver show, which will probably be in November at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. before on the weekend of the Survivor Series, and then maybe have Aleister Black get the belt back there. That's just my scenario. If it's a far-fetched one, hey, read into it what you will. Take it with a grain of salt. That's what we say. So nothing left for me to say on this. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is the time I'm not only going with my gut, but I'm also going with my heart. Winner and new NXT champion, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. And if he wins the belt, oh my goodness, can you imagine what the Barclays will do? That's all I'm saying. I'm hoping for it. So nothing more to say on this. MF, it's well documented. I'm high on Gargano. Bullock and I are high on Gargano. You are very high on Tommaso Ciampa. So I think I know where you're going with this one.
This one's the toughest one of them all because I'm also high on Gargano as well. I like his body of work. I love everything about this. This has to be the end of the war. One way or another, this has to end. I don't know, with Aleister Black possibly getting an opportunity down the line because he never really got a fair shake because of, what happened. But then again, we never really knew who was responsible for Aleister Black getting taken out. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens in that situation. At the end of the day, this is going to be one heck of a title fight, no doubt about it. I think it would be I don't know if it would be a disservice if Gargano wins, that makes Tommaso Ciampa a transitional champion. Is that really fair? I don't think so, but I don't know, because if Tommaso wins, what happens to Gargano? I mean, there's a lot of questions that needs to be asked. And that is, you don't know. You just don't know. To me, I think right now, the best thing NXT could do is possibly one of those scenarios where, just like with AJ and Nakamura, maybe a double count out. I mean, yes, I know that would suck, but I mean, you still got so much time. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go with Ciampa to win because I think it would be a disservice to have him as a transitional champion. That would be my personal opinion. But I don't know. Unless one of the guys is about to get called up to the main roster, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. This is one of the hardest decisions. I'm going to go with Tommaso Ciampa to successfully defend the title, but I'm not 100% about it, honestly. Oleg, I give it to you.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa. He's only held the title for a few weeks since he won it from Aleister Black, and I know some people are saying to take the title away from Ciampa this soon and to have him as a transitional champion would be unfair. But Johnny Gargano's had so many chances, and people want to see him finally get his comeuppance and finally get what he wants. But let's factor in one thing, guys. Gargano already won the first bout in the unsanctioned match at Takeover New Orleans. Takeover Chicago, Ciampa won the next one in that brutal Chicago street fight. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is. I mean, the thing is, I mean, we know this is going to be the fight of the night, no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, the last thing the fans want is anything like a double count out, a double what? Well, the thing is, well, actually, not a double count out. I mean, the last thing we want is to see this end in a draw, because that would just kill it big time. So, you know what? I think this is going to be Johnny Gargano's time. I think his only way of payback from losing in that Chicago street fight, I think, is to take that championship away from Tommaso Ciampa. So I'm going to say it right now. The winner and new NXT champion, Johnny Gargano, and he will finally get that moment that he's been so that he's deserved. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If Tommaso Ciampa does win, maybe Johnny Gargano could be on his way to the main roster. And if so, my prediction would be, and Fletch, I think you're going to like what I have to say here. If Johnny Gargano ends up losing and gets called to the main roster, I think he's blue brand. I think he's going to go to SmackDown Live. Because remember that one time when Daniel Bryan, who was at that time the general manager, I think he was at some event during I can't remember where it was, but he said he wanted Johnny Gargano on the blue brand. So if that's the case, then even though Paige is now the general manager, maybe getting Johnny Gargano would help boost this roster even more. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I think for right now, for me, I'm going to go with Johnny Gargano to become the new NXT champion. So, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll eat that slice of humble pie. So, Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. Part of me wants to say Gargano, part of me wants to say Ciampa because of the fact that Ciampa hasn't been a champion very long, and we know how much these two could tear it up in the ring and even out of the ring. So, either way, I wouldn't be upset with either one of them winning. But just because, I don't think they want to do the paper champion, I'll go ahead and go with Ciampa. But, I would not be upset if Gargano wins because, I like Gargano a lot. So, not much more I'm going to say about it. I guess we're ready for the main show.
And I'm gonna leave this up to you guys. Do you want to address the kickoff matches or just go into the main card? It's up to you guys. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. I was just wondering if you guys wanted to address the kickoff show matches or not, get into them, or if you just want to move on to the main card.
Don't matter here.
MF Bullock. All right. Well. All right. All right. How about this? We'll just do quick. We'll just do yeah. We'll just get into them. I mean, because it is a major pay-per-view after all. So we'll start it off with the kickoff match. Well, all three brands we represented. One from SmackDown Live, one from Raw, and 205 Live, which I think is a mistake, but it is what it is. But we'll start off with the match from SmackDown Live, mixed tag team match on the kickoff show. We got Rusev and Lana squaring off against Andrade, Cien Almas, and Zelina Vega. It's only fitting we start off with Mr. SmackDown Live, MF. So, MF, your brand kicking it off here on the kickoff show for SummerSlam.
Yeah, and this one's gonna, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, this, out of all of the SmackDown fights, this was the most logical one to have on the kickoff show, no doubt about it. There's been a nice little rivalry that's been going on lately between Andrade Cien Almas, Zelina Vega, and it's been a very good battle up to this point. But there's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of mistakes. There's been a lot of things that's been going on. And what has been happening has been, that situation where there's been a little bit of a problem, a brawl that's been happening between Rusev, Lana, and Aiden English, and I think it's going to come ahead. And I think it's going to happen at the pay-per-view. So I got Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega to continue their winning ways, their hot streak right now on SmackDown Live. I think they'll get the victory here at the Barclays on Sunday, which gives them a good opportunity for the future as it relates for Andrade. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Who did you go with, Bletch?
Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So, yeah, I mean, this has been an interesting rivalry. I mean, it all started, like you said, with Andrade Cien Almas going up against Rusev, and then you had the Lana and Zelina Vega going at it, and you had this whole Aiden English thing. So, and so far, Zelina Vega has gotten the best of the ravishing Russian Lana. So now they're going to settle it during the SummerSlam kickoff. So to me, I'm sorry, it's not going to be Rusev and Lana Day. I'm going to go with Fletch in this one. I'm going to go with Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega to win this one. So nothing more to say. Didi Whitson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to agree just because of the fact that we do still have the factor of Aiden English out there. And as much as he's supposedly been trying to help Lana and Rusev, he's been more of a hindrance. So, yeah, I think, that's what's going to happen. He's going to be another little hindrance, and he's going to end up costing him the match again and maybe completely severing whatever ties he has left with them. So, not much more I have to say about it. Florida, cheers.
This feels like a perfect kickoff match for SummerSlam. Rusev versus Andrade on its own merit would be a really great pay-per-view match. And the addition of Zelina Vega and Lana is fine. We'll get to see how these women have evolved as wrestlers a bit more. Regardless, this does feel like a push for Almas and Vega, since Rusev and Lana couldn't be more over right now. And of course, Aiden English, I wouldn't be surprised if he factors into this. So because of that, I'm going with Almas and Vega to get the win here. So with all that being said, let's move on to our next kickoff match. This one from Monday Night Raw. Team championship on the line. The champions, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, the B team, defending the titles against Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival. Michael Bullock, I mean, well documented. We've seen it on Raw many weeks. The B team always finds a way to win. Does that continue here, or is this going to be the night where we will finally say yeah for the Revival? So, Michael Bullock, let's start it with you for this Raw Tag Team title match. Bullock, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The thing is with the B team, I mean, they always seem to find a way to win, and it seems for some reason WWE really wants to push them, whereas the Revival, they're starting to push them, but for some reason, I just. We want to take them seriously, but then for some reason, something happens. I mean, I'm glad they're getting their shot at the title, but I think the B team is going to find a way to win. So I'm sorry to say it, the B team is going to find a way to win and retain the Raw Tag Team titles. So, nothing more to say. Dee Whitson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Revival walk away with this as well, but I have a feeling we're going to have some sort of a factor that's going to continue the reign of the B team, unfortunately. So I guess I'm going with Bullock on the B team winning. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Florio, take it.
Monday Night Raw's tag team division is lackluster right now, to say the least. And the Revival, in my opinion, should be
horrible.
And the Revival should be the team that, well, revives it. However, this is a kickoff show match on an extremely bloated card. A title change here doesn't make sense. As much as, since I'm a Raw guy, I have to enjoy both of these tag teams. I want to see the Revival win it. Honest to goodness, I do. But SummerSlam, I'm afraid, is not going to be where this title changes hands. B team will probably, luck their way into another win. So winners and still Raw Tag Team Champions, the B team, even though I want the Revival to win. So nothing more to say. MF, are we going to make it unanimous yet again?
Fletcher, you there?
Yeah, we all right. I don't know if he stepped out or where he is, but just waiting on him here to give his thoughts on the Raw Tag Team title matchup for the B team. And
maybe that's what it is. Maybe he stepped out.
Yeah, he probably did. He would usually indicate if he was going to step out for a moment or so, but
let's give him a moment.
Yeah, we'll give MF a moment here, but yeah, I mean, honest to goodness, I want to see the Revival win this thing. I really do. They deserve to be the Raw Tag Team Champions more than anybody.
And who knows, Florio? Maybe if the Revival win, maybe it could be the start of the turnaround that this Raw Tag Team division really needs.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Revival got this opportunity because of the fact that they were not pinned in that triple threat match Monday night on Raw. The leaders of Worlds are, and they're now no more because Matt Hardy's going to be out with an injury. So him and Bray Wyatt will not be teaming up. So who knows? Maybe that could do wonders for Bray Wyatt. Maybe they can get another singles thing going for him. I'm hoping for that. But nonetheless, the B team, they keep finding ways to win. Even though the way they won Monday night was fine with me. I mean, that was perfectly done. That was an ultimate opportunist move. That was a vintage triple threat move. But they'll probably luck their way into a win this time around. But honest to goodness, I mean, if there's one team on Monday Night Raw that deserves to be the Raw Tag Team Champions, there are two. One is the Authors of Pain, and the other is the Revival. I'm hoping that the Revival get it done here, but with our luck, and especially my luck being the Raw guy, it's probably going to be the B team going forward. So I do hope one day they put the belt on the Revival. They should have had a run with it already, honestly. But nonetheless, I'm going with the Revival to retain. Hopefully, MF's back in now. I want to get his thoughts on this real quick, and then we can move on to our third and final. Okay, there's MF. All right, MF, are we going to make unanimous B team?
Yeah, unanimous.
All right, I figured that. All right, and now we get into our third and final kickoff show match from 205 Live, a match where, honestly, this should be on the main card because I think the Cruiserweights deserve a chance because the last few months they have really been tearing it up on 205 Live. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. The champion, Cedric Alexander, defending the title against the number one contender, Drew Gulak. Dee Whitson, I know Dee Whitson doesn't really get into the Cruiserweights. Dee, if you had to take a pick here, who would you go with? Would you go with Gulak to win the title, or would you go with Alexander to retain?
Probably Alexander. But like you said, I haven't really followed very closely. I think I've probably maybe watched one or two shows. So,
all right, I can understand that, but I wish you would give it a chance because 205 Live each week is unbelievable. So, all right, so that was Dee's quick thoughts. So now I'm going to get into it. honestly, I miss the days where Drew Gulak would come out and mention that he had a PowerPoint presentation and we would all laugh at his antics. But now he is a serious wrestleman and has a shot at winning 205 Live's Cruiserweight Championship from the delightful Cedric Alexander. While Gulak was a dynamic comedic heel, he's evolved into something new and improved rather. And I think this is the time for him to start a championship run. I mean, I love Cedric Alexander, don't get me wrong, but I think his time is up, and I think Drew Gulak is going to walk out the new Cruiserweight champion. And because I think there is, of course, as we always say, there's always money in where you have an incredible babyface challenger going after a heel champion. There's usually money in that. And I think this could be the start of a big feud here. Or then again, they can move on to some other guys, maybe like a Mustafa Ali or somebody like in that regard. But for right now, for me, the winner and new Cruiserweight champion, Drew Gulak, should be a great match. Should have been on the main card. That's just me because 205 Live's been tearing it up for the last several months. Ever since Enzo got the boot and Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud came in, took over. He made that show fun to watch. And I think they've only had like maybe one, maybe two bad shows since the reboot. But since then, they're averaging about 7 to 8 every week. And of course, when I do that on my Tony Steak Monday night on Ridiculously Raw, that will of course be the case again. So, but nonetheless, Drew Gulak, I think will walk out the new Cruiserweight champion. So MF, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you think Gulak walks out with the belt, or does Cedric's incredible run continue?
This is the one time where I'm probably going to disagree with you, Anthony. I think Cedric is going to successfully defend the title. Look, Drew Gulak has had a great run lately, looking really good. But Cedric is just half man, half amazing, man. Anything he does is just unbelievable, and he's only scratching the surface. I think, ever since they put the belt on him, he's been the breath of fresh air that the division has needed and wanted for a very long time. So in my mind, it just straight up and in my mind, in my heart and in my mind, don't just don't break what doesn't have to be fixed. So right now, I mean, the best Cruiserweight champion is right now Cedric Alexander. One of the best champions in the division has been him. And I don't see why, he's a deserving champ. I just don't see why you would have him drop the belt now, at least at this point. So hopefully that Cedric successfully defends it. Even though I know Drew Gulak would be a good champion, I'm not entirely sold on Drew Gulak. Let's say that. Nothing more to say. I got Cedric winning. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Fletch. I got to go with Cedric Alexander to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. I mean, Drew Gulak has continued to get better, but I just don't think he's ready to make that next step to becoming a Cruiserweight champion. I mean, he's given Cedric Alexander fits, but I know he's going to find a way to win and get back the title. And don't be surprised, Florio, if we get one of my favorites that he does during the match.
You know what that is.
Oh, I know what it is.
Tope con hilo.
Absolutely. It's a tope con hilo.
Mamma mia.
So now let's get to the main card of SummerSlam.
The 31st annual SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. It all starts. Now the kickoff show is at 5 o'clock on Sunday, just to let you folks know. It's a 2-hour show with those 3 matches. The main show starts at 7 on the WWE Network, or as Michael Cole likes to say, the WWE Network. But it is what it is. And of course, traditional pay-per-view outlets. I don't get why, but it is what it is. So let's get to the main card, and we're going to start it off with the match from Monday Night Raw. Finn Balor squaring off against the Constable Baron Corbin. Why, oh why, are we having this nonsense again? There were rumors that Finn Balor will be bringing back his demon gimmick for SummerSlam. But honestly, who cares? Why are these two fighting? They're literally fighting over nothing. Like, literally nothing. One guy is smaller than the other. That's about the most I can muster up. But it certainly doesn't help that we have seen these two countless times before. They fought at Extreme Rules where Finn Balor won. They fought before Extreme Rules. And then a couple of weeks ago, we got them on Monday Night Raw, which was a great match. Don't get me wrong, with Corbin winning. But what is the point in having them fight again? This is something that doesn't need to be on this card, and it's just used to fill time. Finn wins because Corbin wrestling in a suit is stupid. So I'm going with Finn Balor to win this match, demon or not. So nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on Finn Balor and Constable Baron Corbin?
One of the weaker matches for the Monday Night Raw side, no doubt about it. But Balor deserves if they can get the victory here, that would be great for Finn Balor. There would be nothing else that you can say about it. Once this is all said and done, I do believe it is Balor to win. So yeah, give me Finn Balor to win the match. Nothing more to say. Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, why are we wasting time with this nonsense? And Florio, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, and I don't know how you're gonna feel about it, but to me, this match here should have been on the kickoff show, and the cruiserweight title match should have been on the main card.
Amen to that. Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand why they would put it on the main card, but like you said, because the rumors of maybe bringing back the Demon King, but to be quite honest, who cares? I mean, normally we would care for the Demon King if it was a big time match, but against the Constable, who cares? But either way, I'm going with Finn Balor to win this one. But please, WWE, just end this nonsense. Nobody even cares about it anymore. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, Finn Balor, he's going to walk away with it and hopefully end all this crap. So that said, Florio, it's yours.
All right, we're going to move on to our next match from SmackDown Live. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship on the line. Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, defending the titles against the New Day. We don't know which two members it'll be. MF, it's only fitting we started with you. It is SmackDown Live, so who walks out the SmackDown Tag Team Champs?
This is a tough decision because I know how much the New Day has been so over by so many people in their day and the whole 9 yards. I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry, guys. I think the Bludgeons are going to keep the belts. I think the Bludgeons are going to win the match. I think they're going to successfully defend the title. I just don't think it's there yet. It's not their time yet. So for me, I got the Bludgeons winning the match, successfully defending the titles, and nothing more to say. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree with Fletch. I mean, I gotta go with the Bludgeon Brothers as well. I mean, they've been doing so well. I mean, as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, I just don't think it's the time to take the belts off of them just yet. And I mean, New Day will definitely give them a run for their money, but I'm sorry, the power of positivity is gonna be met up with pain. So nothing more to say. Bludgeon Brothers still your tag team champions. Nothing more to say. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
As much as I'd like to see New Day win, I'm going to agree with you guys that the Bludgeons are going to retain. So enough said. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, the Bludgeons, I mean, what can you say? I mean, They are the most dominant force in that loaded SmackDown tag team division. But while the New Day have been tearing it up with quality matches on SmackDown Live, the Bludgeon Brothers have been, well, bludgeoning local talent. Harper and Rowan are in about as generic a role as a tag team can get. They're Vikings that like destroying people. How invigorating. I mean, the New Day has been on a roll, though, and I do think this can be a quality tag team bout. Only thing is the card is 13 matches long, including the pre-show, and I'm not sure if they're going to have their chance to shine, but I'm sure they can make something out of like 7 to 8 minutes. I don't know who's going to knock off the Bludgeons, but unfortunately, I agree. I don't think it's going to be the New Day. It sucks because New Day has been tearing it up in the ring on SmackDown Live for the past couple of months, while the Bludgeon Brothers have just been beating up nameless, child-sized jobbers. I think the Bludgeons win here, but has anyone considered the possibility that perhaps the Undisputed Era comes along and lays out everyone in sight? Just a thought. So, winners and still SmackDown Tag Team Champions, it is the Bludgeon Brothers, I agree. Now we're back to Monday Night Raw, and an interesting matchup here. Mr. Monster in the Bank, the one and only Braun Strowman, squaring off against Kevin Owens, and the Money in the Bank contract is on the line. So if Owens loses in any way, shape, or form, if Braun Strowman loses in any way, shape, or form, Kevin Owens gets the contract. So, Michael Bullock, I mean, you and I know who we want to win this match, but the question is, how do you honestly see this one going down?
I think it's an easy one. I gotta go with the Mr. Monster in the Bank, Braun Strowman, because I just don't. It doesn't make sense to. I mean, he just won the Money in the Bank contract, and then here it is, a month or two later, and now you want to take it away from him and give it to Kevin Owens. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's Braun Strowman's time, and I think if you take it away from it, it's an injustice for him. So I got the Braun Strowman winning and retaining the Money in the Bank. So I got nothing more to say. Didi Whitson, it's yours.
Didi had to step out for a minute, Bullock. I'm
sorry. So, yeah, like I said, Braun Strowman will win. So, you know what I got to do? Roar!
Roar, indeed, yes. I couldn't agree more. Okay. I don't know what the point of this is, honestly. I mean, I honestly don't.
You want to know who's responsible for wanting this to happen?
Yeah, we know who's responsible for this.
Constable Corbin and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, Constable Corbin and Stephanie. You're absolutely right. I just want to say this entire feud is stupid. It really doesn't work with either man's strength. Their motivations are completely wacky and cartoonish, and the way they built it up is just wrong. I mean, think about it. How did this feud begin? Strowman was just beating Kevin Owens up, and then one day Kevin wants to be friends. Braun says F that and starts emasculating and embarrassing him at every turn. From body checking him off the stage to pushing him off the top of ladders. Braun wins Money in the Bank. KO wins a steel cage match at Extreme Rules, but really doesn't. And now the briefcase is on the line. But that's not the stupid part. The stupid part is overemphasizing that if Braun loses, he loses the contract. And just in case if you weren't aware, that includes count out and DQ. WWE just beat this into an oblivion. And I think it's clear that the rules never stated that KO needs to win by pinfall or submission to take the briefcase. Inserting Jinder Mahal as a conduit to further any plot will not go anywhere. Braun is supposed to be somebody who doesn't care who is in his way, takes no prisoners, and will destroy. Kevin Owens is supposed to be an intelligent mastermind who was at his best as a prize fighter. Strowman was on absolute fire going into SummerSlam last year, and KO is one of the more accomplished superstars on the roster. There's no reason why I shouldn't be excited to see this match, but I just have this feeling it's going to end up being ho-hum. I'm skeptical of the chemistry the two will have with each other because KO is essentially a semi-athletic slugger, and Strowman is basically the same thing except 100 pounds heavier. Whoever wins this match will almost certainly make their presence known in the main event, if you ask me. Who's more believable to successfully pull off a cash-in on Lesnar or Roman? The answer is easily Braun Strowman. But Braun never needed the briefcase in the first place, and Owens technically never got his rematch after losing the Universal Championship to Goldberg at Fastlane 2017. So where do we go from here? I thought Strowman should have been Universal Champion last year, Bullock too, but I think he'll cash in the main event. For that to happen, he has to win here. So I agree with Bullock. I'm going with Braun Strowman to win this match. So MF, while we wait for Didi to come back in, your thoughts on all this?
No, I agree with that, and you make a very valid point, and that is that why is the Money in the Bank in play? Why is this match even happening? Is what you guys would say, and yeah, it is because of Constable Corbin. It's because of and it's because of Stephanie McMahon, because they're not high on Braun Strowman. They want to nurture Kevin Owens because it was Owens who kind of, came back to SmackDown, to Raw, after basically being thrown out of SmackDown Live for insubordination. And then, they want to give him the opportunity. And because Owens and Corbin are all buddy all of a sudden, they wanted to stack the deck against Braun Strowman. And yeah, you could also make the argument about, what Braun did, throwing Owens off the steel cage through a table was kind of a little bit reprehensible and definitely not kind of a little bit of an overkill. But then again, it's Braun. What do you expect? But he did get himself in big time trouble for that. And now the contract that Braun deserved, he earned by winning the Money in the Bank. Now he's got to try to get it back and, go from there. We'll have to wait and see. But this is not going to be an easy fight. No doubt about it in my mind. Can he do it? We'll wait and see. But this is definitely going to be one heck of a match. But at the end of the day, if Braun loses this fight, then I don't know. I do not know the direction of WWE. Obviously, then you definitely have to say, authority shenanigans. But it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a solid, an okay fight. But like you said, my pick is I got Braun Strowman winning, and nothing more to say. So now that Didi Woodson's back, Didi, it's all yours, my love.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Strowman. So you guys pretty much touched it. So let's go.
Keep your mic on, Didi, because you're going to be leading off the next match.
Okay.
All right. It's also from Monday Night Raw, and this is the one that looks like is going to be the show stealer from Monday Night Raw. The Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. The champion, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre in his corner, defending the title against Seth Rollins, with Dean Ambrose in his corner, as we learned Monday night on Raw. Didi Woodson, out of all the matches on the Raw side, this one, without a doubt, is going to steal the show right here.
Oh, yeah, and my pick for it, I'm going with Rollins. You got Drew McIntyre in Ziggler's corner, but you got a lunatic in Rollins' corner, and out of the two, I think, the Shield group together will hold together. The only way I would see Ziggler coming out of this is if Ambrose actually turned on his Shield buddy, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. So for me, it's Rollins. So I'll toss it back to you.
We've already seen Seth and Dolph in some form or fashion countless times, and I fail to see what more they can do with each other. I still didn't think that the two had a match that lives up to both men's potential, especially with the year Seth Rollins has had. However, I think the quality of the match may end up getting obscured by the antics of Drew and Dean. Of course, the latter is probably the biggest wild card here. Many are calling for Dean Ambrose to turn heel and start a feud with Seth Rollins. I do believe that will happen, especially with his rugged new look, but I don't think he's going to cost Seth the match here. A feud between these two should have the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship up for grabs. Dolph has served his role well as an interim champion, to give him and Drew some needed credibility. But I'm not sure where he goes after this feud with Seth. I have to assume that they will go their separate ways from each other after Sunday. But here's what I think will happen. I think Seth and Dolph will have an incredible match, and Drew will try to interfere, but Dean makes sure he doesn't influence the outcome. Then I think after some confusion or whatever, Seth takes advantage and wins the title back. Now, there is a slight chance that something else could happen, and that is maybe Jason Jordan comes back. He could come back and cost Seth the title. Jordan didn't leave on the best of terms and cost Seth a lot of matches before he took his leave. And it only makes sense that Seth's other tag team partner returns to screw him over and have Death survive again. The only reason why it's not likely is because Jason's neck injury is reportedly more serious than reported, making the chances of him interfering kind of slim. Anyways, I do think because Dolph has dominated the feud for the most part, Seth gets his redemption, and if the turn by Dean will happen, it will either be after the match or maybe this Monday night on Raw. So I'm going to say it, winner and new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, the Kingslayer and the Architect, Seth Rollins. Without a doubt, this is the match that's going to steal the show on Monday Night Raw, but there is one other match that I think could be just as good. We'll get into that in a minute. So nothing more to say. Rollins wins it. So MF, I mean, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, many years, especially in the early years of SummerSlam, changed hands regularly. Not so much in the latter years, but is this where the Intercontinental belt changes hands once again?
Dude, back in the day, that the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam was literally a hot potato. It basically we couldn't even the first 4 years, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. We had brand new Intercontinental champions. The first 5 years of the SummerSlam, we had Intercontinental title switches. So I mean, without a doubt, it was like I said earlier in the career, the Money in the Bank, the Intercontinental title was literally turning into it was literally one way or another. You can say whatever you want to say, but it literally turned into a hot potato. So I don't know. I mean, is it possible? Yes. Could we see a new champion? Yes. But I kind of have a feeling, at least in my mind, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the Jason Jordan thing. I think it could be a miscommunication because I could definitely see Ambrose and McIntyre are going to get involved. I think what's going to happen is McIntyre is going to stick his nose where it doesn't belong. Ambrose tries to help, and he just does an oops. It won't look intentional. It's going to look more accidental than intentional. But I think Ambrose will accidentally hit Rollins, and that's going to give Ziggler the opening to not only win the match, but successfully defend the Intercontinental Championship. And then you're going to get the little thing saying, then Seth will probably say, yo, what was that all about? Why? And that's when Dean's going to be like, yo, dude, hey, my bad, man. That was my fault. I was trying to mitigate what McIntyre was doing. He was trying to interfere. I was trying to play, try to keep it on a straight one-on-one. It happens, man. Mistakes happen, man. My bad. So I could see that, and that could lead to a brawl down the line. But to me, I know a lot of people would love to see Seth win the title. I don't think it's that time. Not yet. Winner of the bout and still Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Fortunately, I got to go with the DD and Florio on this one. I think Seth Rollins is going to win and become the new Intercontinental Champion. This will definitely be the show stealer on the Monday Night Raw side, especially with the rivalry these two have had. And I think Dean Ambrose is definitely going to play a factor and make sure McIntyre doesn't interfere. So I got nothing more to say. Let's just move right along for you.
And we move on now to the triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The champion Carmella defending the title against both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Oof, my goodness. I believe I started off here, so okay. All right. I still don't understand why Asuka isn't in this match. I mean, I thought the most logical avenue for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam would either be a WrestleMania rematch between Charlotte and Asuka, or Carmella facing all of the obstacles she's had to face since becoming champion, thereby inserting Asuka in the match, making it a fatal four-way. Maybe General Manager Paige throws a curveball at the last minute and adds her just to stick it to Carmella, but we'll see on Sunday. Honestly, and I know Bullock and Didi are going to be very happy with what I'm about to say here. As much as I love Carmella personally, her experiment has long since run its course. Carmella does deserve credit for gaining the trust of WWE officials to the point where she went from being the last overall pick in the draft to beating Charlotte twice and beating Asuka twice as SmackDown Women's Champion. Admirable a feat that is, she simply is not championship material. And it's time to take the title off of her and have a more credible woman win the title, especially with the All Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming up in a couple months. For me, the clear choice is Becky Lynch. She hasn't been champion in about a year and a half, and Charlotte held the title for the majority of the first half of the year. They are clearly teasing tension between Becky and Charlotte, and I think if Asuka is still being hidden, that's the direction they should go in next. But have Becky maybe turn heel and become a heel last kicker and have her win the title. I don't know. But one thing is for sure. I think Becky and Charlotte might be on the collision course for that Evolution period. Or maybe even sooner. I don't know. But I'm going to take a chance here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Winner and new SmackDown Women's Champion, the Irish last kicker, Becky Lynch. I think I just put a big old Cheshire cat-like grin on MF's face when he heard that. So, MF, are you going to agree with me on this? I mean, this is your big money women's feud on SmackDown Live.
Yes, it is. And as much as I would love to see Becky win the title, I think she's going to go heel, but it's going to be for all the wrong reasons. Here's the reason why. Number one, I disagree. Carmella's walking out of Brooklyn with the title. And here's why. I think what's going to happen is because of the triple threat element, Carmella's going to sneak in through the back door and win the title. Because I think what she's going to do is she's going to let Becky and Charlotte go at it. And then there's going to be a moment in the fight where Charlotte maybe does a natural selection, and then Carmella will sneak in, grab Charlotte, toss her out, pin Becky, and that's the 1, 2, 3, and Carmella wins the title. In a pissed off rage because of everything that has happened to Becky Lynch, being the true number one contender, having Charlotte weasel her way in to get an opportunity at the SmackDown Women's title, a title shot that she never should have been involved about. Becky will unleash hell on Charlotte Flair and go mega heel on her by beating the living daylights out of her at SummerSlam. Basically, you want the Irish last kicker to go straight fire? She is gonna be burning down the Queen right before your very eyes on Sunday night, where Becky will turn heel as Carmella revels in the fact that she is still the SmackDown Women's Champion. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, Fletch, I'm just going to say it right now. Well, after hearing what you just said, I think you just made a couple of enemies in myself and Dee Dee Woodson, because as many people have heard they pretty much know by now our hatred for Carmella. So Fletch, I mean, as much as I'd love to see that scenario go down, I just don't see that happening because Carmella's championship run has been lackluster. It's been boring, and she hasn't been the true champion that she is. And plus, you got this all women's pay-per-view coming up in October called Evolution, and I'm pretty sure WWE wants to have a SmackDown Women's Champion that is well worth it. So, I mean, I think Carmella's run is going to be over. Thank goodness. But who do I think is going to win? I got to go with Anthony Florio on this one. I think this is going to be Becky Lynch's time to once again become the SmackDown Women's Champion since she became the inaugural one back in 2016. So, yeah, that's how I see this going down. So, nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, you and we're both hoping and praying that this is the end of Carmella's lackluster run as SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Fletch's point, but I'm not agreeing with it. Carmella has not been the best champion. Because I mean, look at it. And most of her wins have been with assistance. I mean, I will give her credit. She's had a few where she actually did it by herself, but most of the wins have been because she's had somebody out there helping her out, or she's gone in to pick up the win off of what somebody else has already done. So I'm going to agree that that it's Becky Lynch, but even if Charlotte wins it, I wouldn't be upset just as long as it's off of Carmella, because Carmella is, she's the Brock Lesnar of SmackDown. She just, although she's there every week, it's all about Carmella. It's not about defending the title like it should be. Every time somebody mentions a match to her, she goes, "It's not for the title." So yeah, I mean, she wasn't even thrilled about the fact that she had to fight Becky to give Becky the #1 contender, and now we have Becky versus Charlotte versus Carmella because of Charlotte coming back. And I do agree with Fletch. Charlotte really did not deserve to be in this because she'd been out for so long. Then all of a sudden she just comes back and she's just thrown a title shot, and where Becky actually has earned it. So that's why I'm going with Becky Lynch. So not much more to say about it. Florio, let's go.
And we're going to stay with the SmackDown Live, our next match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of the Strong Style, defending the title against challenger and former champion, the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy. MF, I believe we start this one off with you here. The only question I have is, why isn't Randy Orton in this match for a triple threat? I don't get it.
Well, the thing is that first off, Jeff Hardy is deserving of a true one-on-one rematch more than anything else. Now, could I see Orton rear his head in this fight? Absolutely, no doubt about it. He could definitely interfere in this match and easily help Nakamura successfully defend the title, which I think is going to happen. But one thing might happen that actually might be really cool for all you fans, because I heard a rumor. Now, we might, because of the Matt Hardy thing and what's going on with Matt and his injuries, there's rumors that he might be forced to retire, which sucks. That means the Woken universe is gone forever. Well, they might actually try to have Orton interfere, obviously, take out Jeff Hardy, fine, but what you're going to get back is going to be something more scarier, something a little more volatile, something, I don't know. Randy Orton, you might want to watch yourself because he might fade away and classify himself as obsolete.
Obsolete.
Yes.
Yes.
Brother Nero might be coming to SmackDown Live. And if it's Brother Nero, I'm telling you guys, that's going to be bad for Orton. That's going to be real bad for Orton. And maybe bad for Nakamura. You don't know. So once it's all said and done, yes, Nakamura wins the match. He successfully defends the title. This is probably one of the more easier calls of the night, at least when it comes to this SummerSlam. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Nakamura wins, successfully defends the title.
Yes, Shinsuke Nakamura wins, and he'll retain the title. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Randy Orton basically interfere, or maybe after the match he does another volatile attack on Jeff Hardy. But Randy Orton, I think your attack on Jeff Hardy might come back to haunt you, because a Jeff Hardy we might get, well, he's no longer going to be Jeff Hardy. He's going to be Brother Nero. And if he becomes Brother Nero, Randy Orton, you're going to be deleted, you obsolete mule. So, nothing more to say. Shinsuke Nakamura wins. This is an easy call. Didi Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I think Shinsuke's going to win, but, well, actually, I think Jeff's going to win, but Shinsuke's going to retain because of Orton. We've already kind of seen a little bit of Brother Nero come out, and, no matter which one of Jeff Hardy's characters comes out at the end of this thing, it's going to be trouble in paradise for Orton, because you have Brother Nero, you have Itchweed, you have Willow. I mean, there's so many, and I think we may even get a new entity out of this, where you get a little bit of each one of them coming out of this. But like I said, I think we've already seen a little bit of Brother Nero, because for one, he's done the delete signs, taunts. He's already, wearing the white contacts and the face paint, and he's already showing little bits and pieces of that coming out. So there's no telling what we're going to get. But I think Jeff will win by the DQ, but Nakamura is going to retain. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Florio.
Yeah, make it unanimous here. There isn't much of a story here other than the fact that Nakamura likes targeting Hardy's below the belt, if you will. Jeff Hardy actually should have a bigger beef with Randy Orton than Nakamura, since it's been Randy that has been tearing him apart for the past month. This makes it befuddling as to why this match is not a triple threat involving Randy Orton. I'm not sure to what extent the investigation behind Orton's past backstage antics has to do with anything, but this just feels like two men fighting without a purpose, and a title just so happens to be involved. It's also sad that Nakamura really isn't important in this instance, because he's not the most important man in this match. And the most important guy is somebody who isn't even in the match. I see no reason to take the title off of Nakamura, but there's no way he should be as irrelevant to a feud as he is in here. We've already seen these two face off before, and I'm not sure what more they could do in the ring other than a 7 to 8 minute sprint. Nakamura holds on to the title, and hopefully to a more productive feud. So that's all I can say on that. I agree. Shinsuke Nakamura, winner and still United States Heavyweight Champion. And now we're going to get into the 4 big main events of SummerSlam. And this first one is from SmackDown Live, And this is a match that I know Michael Bullock and I and the whole world is waiting for. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Michael Bullock, I mean, out of all of us, I think no one's going to have a more vested interest in this match than you. It's only fitting you start this one off. So Daniel Bryan and The Miz, it's all yours.
Oh, yes, Florio, especially with me being the vice president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement. And let's not forget, Florio, that you being the president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement.
Yes.
You know we're both going to have major interest in this match. And
oh, yeah.
This match, I mean, it's been 8 years in the making. Going back to the original NXT when Daniel Bryan was with The Miz. And then, of course, at SummerSlam 2010 when Daniel Bryan was chosen for Team WWE over The Miz, and The Miz was not happy about that. And, of course, let's not forget that one time when Daniel Bryan beat The Miz to become the United States champion. And it's continue on, and, of course, during Daniel Bryan's time as the general manager of SmackDown Live, I mean, who will ever forget that tirade, that rant The Miz went on that episode of Talking Smack, which, if you haven't seen it, you definitely got to go on the WWE Network and check it out. But, yeah, I mean, he went off and he's going on these rants about everything, especially with Daniel Bryan and also stealing Daniel Bryan's moves, which basically makes me sick to my stomach, because I'm going to say this, guys. The only man who could use those moves is Daniel Bryan himself. I mean, for you, Miz, to steal Daniel Bryan's moves and to say that his comeback is a failure and that he should just let his contract expire and just go away. No. What Daniel Bryan once told about what he said about you, Miz, is the truth. You're soft. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that, Florio, that the Miz is soft? Because, let's face it, his reign as WWE champion was a joke. I mean,
I'm going to stop you there, Bullock. Yes, Miz had one of the worst championship reigns, but when it comes to the WWE championship, nobody had a worse reign than Jinder Mahal. Come on.
I agree there, but I mean, come on. I mean, when was the last time the Miz ever had a good match as the champion? No. And let's not forget, he's always had his wife, Maurice, basically winning matches, especially when he was the Intercontinental Champion. I mean, come on now. You call that not being soft? No, that is being soft. And that's what you are. You're softer than a freaking marshmallow, Miz. So, yeah, and if you got a problem with me calling you that, then, you know what? Why don't you come on Google Hangouts, and I'll say it right to your face. So, yeah, that's how personal I'm taking this, especially as the vice president of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement. And all the things you say, I say is no, 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 no. So this to me is going to be the show stealer on the SmackDown side. Whether it's going to be the fight of the night, that remains to be seen. Because there's another match on the SmackDown side that could be the fight of the night. We'll definitely get into that, but who do I think is going to win this? Do I think well, now, I'm going to do it in a different way. Do I think Daniel Bryan is going to win this match? Yes. 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 D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I think Daniel's going to walk away with this. I mean, this feud's been going on for so long, and yeah, Daniel has beaten Miz in the past, but you know, the fuel is still very, very hot, and you know, that was proved a few weeks ago. And yeah, Maurice has helped Miz a few times, but we also have to remember the B team also used to be the Miz Triage, and they've helped Miz 2 or 3 times win some matches as well. So, yeah, Miz has held titles. Miz has won a lot of matches and stuff, but he's another one where he would rather have the extra help instead of doing it on his own. So I'm definitely going with Daniel Bryan on this one. So Florio, it's yours.
I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan as well, but the thing is, don't be surprised if Miz ends up stealing this. There is a possibility Miz could steal this. There could be shenanigans here. You don't know, but there are some out there who are saying that for all intents and purposes, this is the real main event of the entire show. There are arguments that can be made about that because this match has had the best build. The two have a history, and it's something that is pretty much the culmination of 8 years of animosity, envy, and retribution. What separates this match from pretty much everything else on the card is that it feels important. The world title matches do not feel monumental happenings, and the majority of everything are variations of matches we've seen before. Daniel Bryan has not re-signed with WWE, and his contract expires in the fall. So if we are ever going to get a chance to have a match between Bryan and Miz, the time is now, and we'll take it while they're still there. If Bryan stays with WWE, I think that whoever wins this match won't settle the feud. And I think that this could potentially be the first stepping stone to a bigger match with bigger stakes. Remember, what's the next pay-per-view after this? Hell in a Cell. Could we get these two inside the most brutal structure in all the WWE? I think there's a great chance of that. We all know what Daniel Bryan is capable of doing when paired with the right opponent, and The Miz has been one of WWE's most consistent performers over the past couple of years. This could be your fight of the night right here. There is a chance of that. There is a chance Miz could win this thing. I mean, but regardless of what happens, I don't think SummerSlam is going to be the end of everything between these two. This is 8 years worth of buildup, and it's not like this is at WrestleMania where everything can reset afterwards. Miz could win dirty at SummerSlam, and the two can go back to hating each other on Tuesday and perhaps build, like I said, to a Hell in a Cell bout. Based on the story, the good guy usually wins, and I can see, and you know why Bryan should win, but we'll have to wait and see. But there is a small part of me, believe it or not, that actually wants to go with The Miz to win this match. But because of my loyalty to the Yes movement, I can't go against it. So I'm not overly confident about this because there is that possibility that The Miz could steal this. So I am going to go with Daniel Bryan only because of my loyalty to the Yes movement. But like I said, do not be surprised if The Miz steals this one. Nothing more to say. MF, I mean, this is one of your two potential show stealers from SmackDown Live. Whoa.
Oh yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. Big fight feel. A WrestleMania-esque type match is gonna go down, and yeah, like you said, this is gonna be a big matchup, long waited, 8 years in the making, and it's finally happening, and it's gonna be an unbelievable battle, no doubt about it. Unlike Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock, and Didi Woodson, I'm not entirely chained to the Yes movement as they are. So Anthony, for him to really go out on a limb to say that The Miz could win this, it's very eye-opening to me, because I thought I was going to be the only one in the in the world to say, oh, so I think they're going to give it to Daniel Bryan because it is a big money fight. It's a big marquee fight. Even though I don't think it's going to be the end of it, no, not by the long shot. But if Daniel wins, then I'm not surprised. I think Daniel deserves the victory. After all the stuff that's been happening, he deserves a big moment in the spotlight. If they give it to The Miz, it would just further The Miz more than ever before, and he would have the ultimate bragging rights on Daniel Bryan, which, you know, might be one thing that you have to think about down the line. But no, I'm with you. I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan to win. Nothing more to say. So let's just move on, guys. So Daniel wins, and we go to the next fight.
And we have 3 matches left, and all 3 of these matches are championship matches. And really, you can make an argument that these are the 3 biggest, these are the 3 main events right here. Although you can make an argument for Miz and Bryan to be the 4th main event, but this is the triple main event right here. And we're gonna move on now, back to Monday Night Raw, and the battle for the Raw Women's Championship. The champion Alexa Bliss defending the title against Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I believe it's Dee Dee Woodson who starts this off, only fitting because she is our resident women's wrestling expert. So, Dee Dee, I mean, I know who you want to win, and I got a feeling we're gonna go with this. But to me, when it comes to the women's title matches, I think this is the more compelling of the 2. No disrespect.
Yeah, it really is, because of the fact that this one definitely has a lot more hype built around it than Carmella, Charlotte, and Becky. Because, you know, you have Ronda, who, you know, has come out of UFC, come into WWE. She's already, you know, even before she signed, had already made a name for herself in the WWE. And now, you know, she's 3 matches down since she signed, and she's still the bigger of. I would say she's even bigger than Alexa Bliss as a superstar would go. So, but yeah, I'm going to go. You know, I've heard the rumors that Ronda's going to lose, but I'm going to go with Ronda for winning it, because, you know, the same thing that we've already heard. You know, they're saying that they want the title off of Carmella and Alexa Bliss in time for the all women's pay-per-view. So, you know, this could be the time to do it. If not on this pay-per-view, then definitely by the next pay-per-view, I would say that we would have new champions. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Ronda Rousey for winning on this one. So, Foyo, I'll toss it back to you.
Yes, indeed. Ronda Rousey is one of the bigger favorites at SummerSlam to win their match. I'm just not entirely sure if it is a given that she'll win. I mean, think about it. Ronda has been running roughshod through anyone that has gotten in her way. WWE has yet to build up anybody, Nia Jax included, who could conceivably beat her one-on-one. So if Ronda were to win the title now, who's going to take it off of her? Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ember Moon? Ronda Rousey is clearly going to be the champ. I mean, Alexa doesn't have a believable offensive moveset that she can use to take those that could easily dominate her, as her series of matches against Nia Jax proved. I mean, if Ronda wins it, which I think she is, she's not going to lose it anytime soon. And I think she would become somewhat of a Brock Lesnar hybrid. Somebody who periodically defends a title and makes sporadic Raw appearances, but won't actually be wrestling every week unless it's for a special occasion. WWE does seem to have a fascination with Alexa, you know, like Dee Dee has mentioned on our shows before. And her 5 women's title reigns since the draft is indicative of that. With the women's exclusive, with the all women's pay-per-view Evolution on October 28th, there is a chance they could drag this out a bit more and have Ronda win there. But Ronda is such a heavy favorite to win the match, and the only way Alexa wins is if she cheats or intentionally gets herself out of the match. I mean, should they end with, I don't think 2 of Ronda's first 3 pay-per-view bouts should end with a DQ, but there is a chance that could happen. But there are I've heard those same rumors, Dee Dee, but you know, it goes back to that dirt sheet I shared with you guys a few weeks ago about how WWE wants to take the women's titles off of both Alexa Bliss and Carmella, you know, just so they could have, you know, the big superstars, you know, going into the Evolution pay-per-view with those titles. And if you're serious about that, I think you got to do it right here. So I think you got to take the title off both ladies this Sunday night. So for me, Dee Dee, I agree with you. There's no doubt about it. The winner and the new Raw Women's Champion, the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey. Nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on this highly anticipated Raw Women's title matchup?
Going into this, there was a theory about Ronda Rousey losing because of Natalya, but with Natalya currently grieving over the loss of her father, Jindy Anvil Neidhart, which has been well documented, we even gave our thoughts and our condolences on Monday night on Ridiculously Raw. Obviously, Natalya will most likely not be there. So that basically takes out the element of surprise. Unless something out of the ordinary happens or something out of right field that none of us sees, Ronda Rousey is going to win the Raw Women's title on Sunday night, and she will be the champion going in. So, I mean, that is the only way that this title could have stayed with Alexa Bliss. Any other scenario would not just be believable. Ronda would probably have to get screwed over to lose. Now, who could that be? There's not that many people that really have any grudges against Ronda Rousey. So it wouldn't make any sense for her to lose unless it's on the grounds of maybe them implementing or even thinking of a possible 4 horsewomen brawl. But for that to happen, you would have to do so many things in order for that to happen. Winner and new Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey. Michael Bullock, you can go ahead. It's yours now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Ronda Rousey is going to win and become the new Raw Women's Champion. I mean, like you said, going into this, I mean, we all thought that Natalya was going to be in the corner, and we all thought that she was going to pull the surprise and screw Ronda Rousey. But of course, we all know that she's not going to be there because she's still grieving the passing of her father, and like you said, there really is no other scenario, and this is the one scenario to go. I mean, unless there is another way that she gets screwed by somebody who holds a grudge against her. Well, Fletch, you said there is, you can't really think of someone who has a grudge against her. Well, there is one. Well, there is one I can think of. Can you guess who I'm thinking of?
Nia Jax?
No.
Oh,
Can't be Mickey James. Or
He's in-
could it?
No, someone else who probably has a problem with her.
Alicia Fox?
No.
Oh, shit! Stephanie McMahon?
You are correct, Fletch. Because remember,
Oh, the $1 billion princess screwing Ronda Rousey?
well, because let's not forget, I think Stephanie McMahon hasn't forgotten about when she lost to Ronda Rousey via submission. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say it's going to happen, but
Plus, also, this would be good because of the fact that also, if you remember, she did break Stephanie's arm the next night on Monday Night Raw and put her on the shelf for a good while. So that would be an interesting plan B, definitely.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I think we all need to think about during this match. But I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey for right now. But do not, and I repeat, guys, do not be surprised if the $1 billion princess gets involved and screws Ronda Rousey as her way of getting payback for when when the rowdy one broke her arm, not just at WrestleMania, but as Fletcher just said, the night after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. So don't be surprised if that happens. Just my thought. So Florio, it's yours.
So you're making it unanimous, Bullock. You got Ronda winning the belt.
I'm making it unanimous, but don't be surprised if what I just mentioned happens.
Fair enough. All right. Now it's time for the double main event of SummerSlam. The 2 World Championship matches. And we started off with the battle for the WWE Championship. The main event of the SmackDown Live main event of SummerSlam. The champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles, defending the title against the number 1 contender, the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. Oh my goodness. This is so tough. I mean, my gut is telling me to go with AJ to successfully defend the title, but my heart is telling me that Samoa Joe's going to win the title. But here we go. I think this to me is going to be this could be the fight of the night right here. I mean, SmackDown Live has 2 potential show stealers. We already talked about Daniel Bryan and The Miz. This is the other potential show stealer right here. They did go to the Impact Wrestling YouTube channel earlier this week. They showcased their 5 greatest matches when they were in TNA, and all 5 choices. I couldn't disagree with any of them, especially the number 1 choice, which was, of course, the greatest in TNA history, which featured Christopher Daniels, the infamous Unbreakable 3-Way. I mean, forever and a day, that's going to be the greatest match in TNA history, 5 stars and beyond. But anywho, this feud has been fine, but it's a shame that it just kind of feels there. The dynamic of introducing family and how far away superstars are away from the road is okay to add into the feud to give it an extra spice, but it should not be the main focus. The main focus of a WWE Championship feud should be between the superstars. Why are we focusing on AJ's family, who we will probably never meet? We should know why AJ and Samoa Joe have a beef with each other. AJ was going somewhere by mentioning their past and how they struggled together, but both managed to succeed. Unfortunately, that was only a supplement to the larger plot, being AJ sacrificing being a father for being a WWE superstar. If AJ Styles and Samoa Joe can't go out there and give us at least a 4-star match, then something is seriously wrong. It has been a long time since we got a vintage AJ Styles match. The last man standing match with Shinsuke Nakamura at Money in the Bank got going good towards the end, but we took far too long to get to that point. AJ's feuds with Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jinder Mahal, and others have flopped over the past year or so, and now he's at SummerSlam facing a guy that he has a long history with. These are 2 of the top competitors in the world, and there's no reason why this shouldn't be one of the matches we are talking about at the end of the night. If that's not the case, then something is terribly wrong with the main event scene of SmackDown Live. So who wins this match? Like I said, my gut's telling me AJ, but my heart is telling me Joe. Samoa Joe has not won anything since coming on the WWE's main roster in January of last year. AJ Styles has held the title for nearly 300 days, and it feels like he hasn't accomplished anything great with it. A change has to be in order somehow. If you ask me, it's time to pull the trigger on Joe. AJ is still one of the best competitors in the world and could put on a great match with anyone in his sleep. But at the same time, he just doesn't seem like the same guy that he was in his first year in WWE. Maybe it's because he was a heel for the majority of the year, and almost every match that he was involved in being on pay-per-view or television. Before, greatness was guaranteed with AJ. Now we're kind of hoping he'll be great, which necessarily isn't bad, but he's clearly not the same. I just personally think it's time for a change on the SmackDown brand. And for me, there's no reason I can't think of why WWE cannot take a chance with Joe. So, like I said, this is one of those rare times I got to go with my heart here. I mean, if AJ wins, I certainly would not be surprised at all. And he has been a tremendous soldier for SmackDown Live. He has done great things for SmackDown Live. But I think right now, I think Samoa Joe is very deserving, and I'll take a chance here. This to me, out of all the matches on this card, this is the toughest one for me, along with Bryan and Miz. But this to me is is far and away the one I've been going, ugh, who do I go with? But this is one of those rare times I'm going to go with my heart instead of my gut. Winner and the new WWE champion, the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. Nothing more to say. MF, your main event. Does AJ's incredible run continue? Or does your boy, Samoa Joe, who we know you've been high on for years, is this finally Joe's moment in the sun?
It's not Joe's moment in the sun. Not yet. Vince loves AJ Styles. He's very high on AJ Styles. AJ Styles right now is on pace to become the longest running WWE champion, breaking CM Punk's record. And you know Vince wants that record to be broken. So no, I'm sorry, Anthony. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. AJ Styles wins the match, successfully defends the title. There's too many variables right now, and AJ's been a really good champion. This is another one of those, you know, it, it's not broken. Why fix it? I'm sorry. I disagree with everything you just brought to the table. I think AJ has been a tremendous WWE champion. I think he's been the beacon and a breath of fresh air. I think the challengers he's been having are amazing. I could see a battle with The Miz. I could see battle with Randy Orton. I could see battles, with so many different guys. AJ is like Seth Rollins. He is the reason why we watch SmackDown Live. He's the reason why SmackDown is better than Monday Night Raw. So, no, I disagree with everything you just said. Winner and still WWE champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Michael Bullock, it's yours. Bullock?
I'm sorry. I didn't even know it was my turn yet. So, yeah. Wow. So Florio goes with AJ Styles, and Florio goes with Joe, and then Fletch goes with AJ Styles. So, yeah. So this is a tough one, but this rivalry between Styles and Joe has gotten personal, involving AJ's family, thanks to Samoa Joe. So, including that backstage moment right after SmackDown went off the air this past Tuesday night. So, yeah, AJ Styles has been a great champion. He's held it for a long time, but I'm sorry, Fletch. I got to go with Florio on this one. I think this is Samoa Joe's time. I think it's time to finally have some gold, and none bigger than the WWE Championship. So, winner and new WWE Champion, Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. And hey, like I said with some of the other, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. D.D. Woodson, it's yours.
Man, this one's a tough one. I could see either of them walking away with the title. Joe's hit AJ so hard right now with all the personal stuff that, there is a chance that AJ could walk away still retaining it just because of all the fuel that Joe has given him. But at the same time, Joe's the type of guy that you don't take lightly. He will snap any one of his submissions on you, and it can be over in a matter of seconds. So no matter who wins, I'm not going to be upset with it, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Fletch on this one, just because of the fact that there is so much personal fuel in this that is going to fuel AJ's rage to the point to where it could be in his favor. It could backfire in his favor. Like I said, either way, I'm not going to be upset. but I'm going to go ahead and go with AJ for retaining just because of that fuel. So, not much more I'm going to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, and I'll give credit where credit is due. At least someone in the men's division is defending their main event title regularly. And with AJ Styles as the WWE champion, SmackDown Live viewers are treated to dream match after dream match. And yes, most of those matches have happened in New Japan, Ring of Honor, and TNA, but it's brand new to us in the WWE universe. And regardless of who wins, I just want to see these guys, have a long feud. I want to see them go more than once. And I agree with everything. I mean, I know MF, poo-pooed all over me, and I don't blame him. But AJ has been a phenomenal champion. But at the same time, there is that part of me that kind of wants to see Samoa Joe get it, even if it means dethroning AJ, who has done a phenomenal job. So we'll find out what happens on Sunday. But now, folks, this is the main event of SummerSlam, even though, in my personal opinion, AJ and Joe should be the main event. But we know this is going to be the main event instead. And hopefully this is the last time we'll have to say this match. Not only the main event of SummerSlam, but also the Monday Night Raw main event of SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. The champion, Brock Lesnar, defending the title against the big dog, Roman Reigns. MF, we started with you. Does the Beast's uneventful run continue? Does the big dog finally get that bone to chew on? Or are we getting a cash-in? What's going to happen in this Raw main event?
Man, this is so unpredictable and so many ways this can go. There was a rumor going around, at the very beginning that Lesnar was dropping the belt. That Roman was going to be the one to dethrone him, and he was going to win the title. In one way, it would be great, because then that means the Universal title is indeed gonna be no longer going to be a recreational belt, and the Universal title is finally going to be the belt that we've all wanted it to be, defended each month, being competitive, being worthy. But now, lately, there's been some rumors going around that Lesnar actually might be staying around a little while longer, and that actually might lead to possibly Lesnar winning the match and keeping the title. And I know that's not going to be what we all want. Obviously, that's not going to be the way that we all want it, but there's a possibility now of that happening. So what's going to happen? I don't know. But what I will say is that, it's going to be an interesting title fight, obviously. It's going to be a decent match. But I don't know how this is going to play out. So I think what could happen is Paul Heyman's an X factor in this fight. The Money in the Bank could come into play easily, and that's where I think Strowman could come in and maybe be the one. But I don't know. I just don't know. I think what could happen is, obviously, it could go two ways. Lesnar wins, and then maybe the next night he drops it. But I just don't see Brock walking out of Brooklyn with the title. And I think that's the big thing. I know a lot of people could care less about the main event, but because of the fact that he did negotiate a new deal, or that there's a new deal on the table, and that he'll be able to wrestle and fight with the UFC. And unless there's a last-minute switch, I don't know. I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to really piss off a lot of people in the room. I think Brock Lesnar's winning the title. I think he's going to keep the belt. There's something is not right. something just doesn't feel right about this. But I know people want Roman to win the belt or Strowman to win it. I think Strowman will eventually get it, but not at SummerSlam. I think it might be a Monday Night Raw where he wins the title. So something tells me Brock wins. I don't know why. I just feel like it. I heard about a rumor about a possible swerve at the end. I don't know if that, I've heard so many rumors. I just don't know what to believe. I'm going to go with Lesnar for now, but I'm not 1,000% with that either. I'm not 100% that that's going to happen. I'm just going to park it there and just play it safe. Brock wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, are you there? I think we might have lost Bullock. Edie Whitson, your thoughts on the main event?
I missed what Fletch said because I had to go deal with a cat. Who'd you pick?
What's that?
Who did Fletch pick? Because I had to go deal with a cat. I missed what.
I believe he picked Lesnar. Wasn't 100% sure.
Okay. Me, I'm kind of with him. I'm a little borderline on this. No, I don't think Lesnar will walk away from Brooklyn with the title, but I'm not too sure whether it's going to be Paul Heyman or Strowman, but I do think Lesnar's losing it. I don't know that it's going to Reigns or not. I think I kind of want to say it's going to Strowman, so I guess that's where I'm going to park it. So go ahead, Anthony.
All right. 3 years ago, I would be excited. Maybe. But now this is just the 2018 version of John Cena versus Randy Orton. The only story these two know how to tell in the ring is kick out of one's finisher until you can't kick out anymore. Seriously, what more can these two do to each other that we haven't already seen? We've seen Roman Reigns kick out of 5 F5s at WrestleMania. Yet it took only one spear by Bobby Lashley to defeat him at Extreme Rules. We've seen Lesnar kick out of countless spears. What's the story going to be this time? Roman can kick out of 6 F5s and Brock Lesnar can kick out of more spears? This is the only way these two know how to fight. And it's like they are two robots conditioned to be to the same thing time and time again. You'd think after 3 years of this nonsense, the main story in this match would be if this is finally the moment for Roman to slay Brock Lesnar, but I have an alternative. What about that note Paul Heyman gave Roman Reigns on Raw Monday night, telling him to give him an answer for Sunday, immediately pepper spraying Roman Reigns, allowing Brock Lesnar to have his way with him? Now, as we all should know, Heyman has been one of the brilliant minds in the business, and he is someone that plays a lot of mind games. So what is the possibility that Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar? He certainly has done it before, as Survivor Series 2002 would show. What's the possibility that maybe Heyman is actually fooling Lesnar to thinking that he's on his side when he is actually seeking to betray Brock and give Roman the win, facilitating a heel turn? I, for one, don't think Roman's going to beat Brock straight up, simply because I believe WWE is too cowardly to do it. At the end of the day, there are not 2 possible Universal Champions in this match. There's 4. And I think either Braun Strowman or Kevin Owens will run down the aisle and cash in, simply because they may not get a better chance to become champion. I want to say Roman will win this match because I've been saying that he beat Brock all year, but he never has. Sadly, I think the trend will continue. I don't think WWE is bold enough to do a Heyman heel turn, and the heel turn would be less of a big deal if someone cashes in anyway. If Brock is working both UFC and WWE at the same time, Lesnar could be holding the title longer. Who knows? I think Brock Lesnar is going to retain, but I think ultimately Braun Strowman is going to cash in. So I say Brock Lesnar will beat Roman Reigns, successfully defend the Universal Championship, but then Braun Strowman will come out, cash in Money in the Bank, and ultimately Braun Strowman will leave SummerSlam the new Universal Champion and will finally on Monday Night Raw have a full-time Universal Champion, something that we've been waiting for forever. So I'm praying that this is the night it finally happens. So that's it. Unfortunately, we did lose Bullock here. I was hoping we could have had Bullock give his thoughts on the main event, but I think he's tapped out for the night. You know, I don't blame him because we had a long night. We had a special event earlier. It was a great night, so I think he's probably tapped out after all that. So, but I'm sure he probably would have agreed with all of us. So that's it. So I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, and of course. Join us again on Sunday night, immediately following SummerSlam, over on MF's channel, BraceFan95, as we will have our complete recap of SummerSlam. And then next Monday night, of course, Monday night, don't forget Ridiculously Raw, where we will sort out all the fallout from the Monday Night Raw side of SummerSlam and start the build for Hell in a Cell. And of course, I'll also have my Tony's Take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then, of course, Cerebral Smack Talk follows that with MF over on his channel, BraceFan95. SmackDown Live review, Lucha Underground, and the Mikey's Mindset, some other things. And believe it or not, folks, Derek Ferreira already released the docket for what is, I believe, shaping up to be the season finale of Strictly Sports, which will go down next week. The big story, of course, the Paw Sox, the Pawtucket Red Sox, moving to Worcester. Expect a lot of rants, especially from Michael Bullock and myself, and maybe MF too. But in all seriousness, on top of that, we are going to preview the upcoming college football season, previewing the major conferences in Notre Dame, and for one final time this season, the Major League Baseball Power Rankings. So I do believe that next Friday night will, for all intents and purposes, be the season finale of Strictly Sports. So and then, of course, all the big programming coming up. So the football shows will be back soon, and so many great things to look forward to. It's going to be a very busy several months in the coming weeks. So, all right. So we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Enjoy the events this weekend. They're both going to be great. But I think TakeOver, in my opinion, will be better. It always is. So don't be surprised if that's the case here. So until Sunday night for our SummerSlam recap show with MF on BraceFan95, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the phenom Michael Bullock, for the Twisted Angel Didi Woodson, and in spirit, the Bullet Club Soldier 445 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the pay-per-views. And until the SummerSlam recap show on Sunday night, you've been watching this very special edition of the Wrestling Forum, this joint production of Ridiculously Raw and the Cerebral Smack Talk, our preview of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, and the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam 2018, right here on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody, and bye, everybody, bye.